You've probably heard before that if you focus on your audience or on the people you serve, if you focus on the who first, WHO, everything else becomes easy. And that's a piece of advice that is very common, that is applied to uh, so many areas, like writing books. Writing a book, the first thing that you need to do when you write a book is think about who this book is for. Uh, a piece of advice I always give people is when they start publishing content and doing an email list is think about one person, write for one person at a time. I once went to a Google building and in the hall, there's this really big sign that there was a neon sign that says, focus on the user and the rest will follow. And that's one of Google 10 things to be true. I think it's number one, in fact, if you look it up. We all know it's important, yet we struggle with it, pretty much all of us. Why? Because we are inside our business, inside what we do, inside the jar, inside the box. And it's really hard to look outside the box or the jar and to read who the box is for when we are inside. That's logical. We're too close. We're just in our knowledge. We do our work every day. We're too close to what we do, and it's really hard to really understand who the work is for. Of course, you may be able to say you may say, okay, well, my work is for businesses of that type, is for um, women in the 30 to 60 years age range that are highly sensitive and that are leaders in large insurance organizations. That's a very specific way to describe that. And what we struggle this is to go beyond this, to go beyond the, the kind of the evident characteristics. In fact, we sometimes make the mistake of relying too much on the demographics characteristics. And one of the ways to define who we serve is to really find the common denominators, the small behaviors, the details, what is happening in our client's life, in our ideal client's life. What are people running up against? How do they feel? The moments in their life, the moments in their journey. For instance, with MetaHelm, I help entrepreneurs who are either launching or relaunching their business. I say that they are at an inflection point in their entrepreneurial journey. So that's one characteristic for describing who my ideal clients are. Now, the key thing, the key pattern, the key, yeah, the key, the key is how do we get to that information? The first and most intuitive way is to engage in self-reflection and try as hard as we can to imagine who our ideal client is. And it may be harder or easier based on our experience. Maybe we've helped, a series of clients before, a series of people, and we can kind of see some of their patterns or their characteristics. But there is just a more simple, a simpler and an easier way. It's to go talk to them. It's to go talk to, uh, you know, people who you think might be benefiting from your services and have a conversation with them. And so that's what I just advise one of my clients in one of my coaching sessions to do is to carry on. And he started and he had 2 interviews with potential clients. And I advise him to continue to get maybe 5, 10 market discovery conversations. Market discovery conversations are about listening and discovering and coming to a conversation with someone who you assume might benefit from your services, not trying to sell them anything, really connecting from a human to human level, at a human to human level, from a human perspective, and really trying to understand what is happening in their life, what are they facing, what are they excited about, so that you can start thinking about how you might be able to do them, how you might be able to help them. So I'm bringing this topic to you because again, I think that's the key. I think that's the simple truth and yet the most, for some reason, difficult one. We live in an era where we feel like we should just skip the phone call, skip the meeting, and just try to figure out everything on our own through our AI generated algorithm, email campaigns, or social media. These are amplifiers. They are really great tools, and you should use your tools. But don't forget that initially, who you help, who the user is, who the users are, and figuring this out so that everything else follows more naturally and flawlessly is just a very authentic and a very simple act of connecting with a human being, heart to heart, without trying to convince anyone, but just inquiring about how people are doing, what are they facing, and then later on connecting the dots with your world and seeing how you could do it. So start with who, and the rest will follow, and start just engaging in meaningful conversation with people. Schedule 4, 6, whatever number you feel like you're comfortable with, and do a little bit of research. Here's a bonus tip for you, a pro tip even. What you could do is, after you've had a series of interviews, is compile your data, compile your research, and build a summary, a 1-page summary, maybe 2 pages if you want, and offer it to the people who participated to your study, to your small scale research, and give it back to them and see if they see each other, see if they see themselves, not each other, see they see themselves in the description of who your best client is. I hope this helps, and I look forward to hearing your comments, seeing your questions, and hopefully reading about who your ideal client is. Thank you so much.